Hello, my name is Alexis Troy, and I'm here to talk about two articles that I felt like were beneficial to me this semester in shaping my thoughts on feminism. So first, I'm gonna go talk about the articles, and then I'm gonna talk about how it's used in today's society. So my first article is Joey Morgan, When Chicken Heads Come to Roost. A hip hop feminist breaks it down. And then my second article is Melissa Hill Perry, Crooked Room and Sister Citizen, Shame, Stereotypes, and Black Women in America. So I'm going to start off with the Joey Morgan piece. So she starts off by taking us on, like she uses imagery to take us on this journey through her life. And she outlines the inconspicuous ways that those events in her life had led her to identify as a feminist. So she takes us on a journey, noting the absences of black women in studies done on women's history. She knows that it wasn't until later on in her life that she learned about certain people that were influential in the shaping of the women's movement, because all she known was like the white people and the white women, like in the Seneca Falls Convention, whatever. And she talked about how she knew she wanted to be a writer, but she didn't have anything to write on. So she wrote an article, and it was about male sexism, and she received backlash from it when visiting the loft of one of her friends, and it was an all-male audience. They was doing the white man's work. They called her a lesbian because of her views on male sexism and the silence that comes with it. So this shows how men try to equate sexual orientation with beliefs. Just because I believe a certain way about males doesn't believe that, I hate males. And that's this article helped me see that, but that, because, one of the misconceptions before taking this class was that being a feminist means that you hate men. Being a feminist doesn't mean that you hate men. It means that you want men to be aware of their shortcomings and use those shortcomings as fuel to help the cause for women to get equal rights, and also just to change the behavior within the male setting. So this article really taught me that, and it showed that there are unconventional paths to feminism and that identity plays an important role. In the beginning, she said she didn't identify as a feminist, but looking back and encountering those situations that she did encounter, it helped her build her name, and it helped her identify herself. It showed me that, me, I'm thinking, you just wake up one day. Unrealistically thinking, I'm thinking you could just wake up one day and say, hey, I'm a feminist. But that's not how it works out. It's something that happens gradually over time, and sometimes you don't even notice it. Yeah. So the outside article that I use to, not the outside article, like the outside event that I use to relate to this article, it's not really an event, it's just a person. So Janelle Monáe identifies herself as a part feminist in one of the pieces in the article that I was reading. And this shows me that, it goes back to showing me that, feminism is a gradual thing. So right now, to me, I feel like Janelle Monáe, this article was like in April earlier this year, that her identifying herself as part feminist suggests that she hasn't reached the peak, because Joanne Morgan, like she said, it took her a long time to, reach where she actually identified calling herself as a feminist. So I feel like Janelle Monáe is at that point in her life. But she suggests that women go on a sex strike for feminism, and that people start respecting the vagina. So she just wants women to appreciate how important they are. And this goes back to show the unconventional approaches to feminism. It shows how she defends herself in the face of masculinity and patriarchy, because it's the belief that, women are to be of sexual pleasure to the male and not vice versa. So it shows that basically she wants women to show power by limiting the sex in the name of feminism, basically. And so, yeah, that's how I feel like those two relate to each other. It just shows that, Janelle Monáe is in different, like, in that point in her life where she's not fully identifying as feminist because she hasn't had that breakthrough as Joanne Morgan had in her piece. Um, the idea of being part feminist, either you are or you aren't, but that's another conversation for another day. The second article, like I said, was Cricket Room by Melissa Hill Perry. She starts by giving this analogy of, well, not analogy, she starts off by explaining this study where she had women walk into the room and try to themselves upright in a room that's already crooked. The people didn't know that the room was crooked. So she noted that some people were able to and some women were not. So this just took me back. Not took me back. This just made me think, like, how do you find your place in society as a black woman where the odds are already pitted against you? So this goes back to the, 5 faces of oppression, in that you're black and you're a woman. So having to combat both of those and try to line yourself up in this society where, black women are Jezebels, sapphires, mammies, housemakers, prostitutes, things of that nature. How do you create a name for yourself to become, the doctor that is known for curing cancer, or, the lawyer that wins many high profile cases? Like, how do you become that when you already have these stigmas that are placed on you just because of the color of your skin or just because of your gender? So it's like, how you straighten yourself up based on these established norms. Like, how do you do that? So when I read this article and I was thinking about how it relates to the world today, I immediately thought about Maxine Waters, the U.S. representative in Congress. She really received backlash for reclaiming her time. Memes happened about, her reclaiming her time, and people commenting was like, oh, she's disrespectful, she's this, she's that. But at the end of the day, the question she was asking wasn't disrespectful. It was, and people don't understand the circumstances behind it. He was avoiding the question, so she had a right to reclaim her time. And people were like, well, she didn't have to say it that way, and this, that, and the third. And so, even well before then, though, the reclaiming my time piece, she received backlash. Bill already, he couldn't understand what she was saying because he couldn't get past the James Brown wig. So it just shows that they point out things that are not of importance to try to negate or avoid the things that she says as if they are not important. So back in August, she was at she spoke at the Black Girls Rock Convention, and one of the quotes she said really resonated with me. She said, I want you to know, if it was not for the love and the respect shown to me by my black women, those right-wing, ultra-conservative, alt-right haters in this country would have me believe I'm black. I'm too black. I'm too confrontational. I'm too tough. I'm too disrespectful of them. But now I am simply a strong black woman. So despite, the things that are going on around her and the negative comments that are being made by her about her, she still stands upright in a room that's crooked and identifies herself as a strong black woman despite the overpowering the overpowering dissent from not only white males but other women. She still maintains her identity as a strong black woman. Stacey Dash also called her a buffoon, and as a woman, you would think that